Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniX TCG, and we are here for another color overview for the Gundam card game set 1 Newtype Rising. This time it's going to be white. If you want to see the reviews for both green and blue, you can go down in the description and check that out. But yeah, let's get into it and let's go over all these cards. I know you Seed fans are waiting, and so are you Witch from Mercury fans, so let's hop into it. Okay, let's pick it up right from the top. We first have Strike Gundam. As per usual, we're gonna go commons and uncommons and rares. That's the way I've been doing it for these, and I feel like we just get to have this nice little build up of power level. But yeah, we've got Strike Gundam. He's just a level 4 2 cost 3/4 stat line, and yeah, that's a pretty solid stat line. The level 4 2 costs are kind of invaluable currently in the format, and then on top of that, he is able to link with Kira Yamato, turning into a 5/5 with the Kira effect of minusing 2 for the battle, 2 AP for the battle when he swings on something. So this is a very fine card to have. Will it make it into most of these blue or these white blue deck lists? I don't think so, but like, this is just a fine card in general. Next, we have Mistral. I talked about this one, just a level 1 cost 1/1 deploy, choose one enemy unit. It gains -1 AP for this during this turn. Honestly, this is essentially a command card that has a body that sticks around that can be easily cleared by a great majority of cards. If it ever goes sideways, Gun Tank will take it out. Red will just breathe on it and it'll go away. So I just don't really see this card being that great. Then we got Sky Grasper. It's a level 2 cost 2/2 that just has Earth Alliance as a trait. It's cool that it can link, but again, unless you're playing some sort of white rushdown, I don't really see this being particularly a great card. But Kagali Sky Grasper is pretty much in the same position. It really is though, because the destroyed trigger is just not that great. Having a card that your opponent can just choose not to destroy. It also has a just 1 cost, and like, what happens if your opponent gets a swing out with a card and then they destroy out this one? Your only choice is to bounce a card that they love just to replay with it and active instead of rested, so you can't swing on it as easily. Like, this card that I just don't see being that great. Then we have got the M1 Astray, level 2 cost 2/2, and this one we are familiar with from the beta, I believe. But it just says, while you have another triple ship alliance unit in play, this unit gains +1 AP and blocker. That's pretty cool. Being a 3/2 blocker is pretty tight. However, it is one of those cards where if your opponent starts getting rid of the rest of your board, they can turn off the block to this, and I just don't really like conditional effects. Then we've got Guel Jeturk, and this is actually pretty cool. It's just general vanilla level 2 cost 2/2. At this point, with the stats of 2/2, I would just much rather be a level 2 1 cost. But this guy also has link. That's actually, if you guys notice, the ones that are level 2 and 1 cost, they don't have link with the stat line. The ones that are level 2 and 2 cost do have link. Not sure if this is just going to justify you playing this over a level 2 1 cost that does not have link. Next one, we've got this Bougar Pente, and this is yet another mobile suit, level 2 cost 2/3. Just nothing too great about it. But once you start getting to this area, you might as well just play in some like level 4s with the 2 cost and then have the better stat line. Demi Garrison. There are a lot of vanillas, guys. We're going over a lot of vanillas, my bad. Level 2 1 cost 2/2. Now that's what we're talking about. This is, if you're just trying to get some good value beatdown, this is the card you want to max out on in this sort of deck. All right, now our first real hitter out here, or a card that can at least take hits. This is the Gundam Lfrith, and it's just insane. It's just literally insane. Level 3 2 cost, and it's a 2/4. This is just basically good because this comes down on your second turn if you have the EX resource, on your third turn if you don't. With the 2 cost 4 level 4 bot, sorry guys, with the 2 AP 3 or 4 HP card base, you really have the ability to wall a lot of stuff. There's a lot of 2 AP to 3 AP threats that just pretty much get bounced by this card. They just don't ever make it past what this card is sitting on the board with. And then on top of that, if you do decide to have a pair on this, like if you just realize you have extra pilots and you pair with this, you can get some really gross numbers on a blocker that just refuses to quit for quite some time. So yeah, this blocker drastically slows down the early game for a lot of decks, and it's just invaluable. Next, we have Elon Karis and Enhanced Person number 4. Really sad, if you know, you know. Level 4, 1 cost, and he basically gets +2/+1. Activate action once per turn. If an enemy unit with 1 or less AP is in play, this unit recovers 1 HP. Again, I don't really like conditional effects, and there are some decks that may fulfill this. There are a lot of decks, most decks that will not. And I just, like I said, I do not like effects that are based off of what your opponent can either do, not do, have, or not have. Just seems a little circumstantial for me. Well, next card is Naval Bombardment. This was in the beta, level 2, 1 cost, and just burst. Choose one enemy unit. It gains -3 AP for the turn. Pretty good burst. And then action. Choose one friendly unit with blocker. It gains AP +3 during this turn. Essentially what it was made to do is turn like what would be a normal block into maybe like a chump block into maybe a whole trade in a block. And that's cool and all, but I think we've just progressed to the point where this card is kind of outdated, and rather than using things like Naval Bombardment, I think Unforeseen Incident is just more versatile, allowing you to sometimes save bodies, save bases. Like, it's cool to turn something into a trade, but it's also in a lot of cases cooler to turn something into a save where you can still choose what to do with it next turn instead of just losing both units. Next, we've got Covert Operative. Level 3, 1 cost command that also doubles as the pilot, Sadiq Zanelli. And basically, you have the main choose one enemy unit with 2 or less HP, return to the owner's hand. If you have a link unit in play, you can choose something with 4 or less HP instead. Again, it's a very much so conditional. Linked units do tend to have the most, I don't know, durability because of their increased stats, but they tend to be the ones that are focused on the hardest, because a lot of the times these pilots are giving you more value the longer they stay linked to something, stuff like that. So yeah, I personally think this is a little weird. It's a win more card. If you're already doing well, this card is going to go bonkers. But if you're behind, this card is likely just going to be getting its first iteration of the effect, and that can be a little rough. But hey, maybe testing will prove this take wrong in time. And then the next card we have, the last of the commons, is actually the base 13th Tactical Testing Sector. It's a level 3, 1 cost that just, of course, burst, of course, deploy. And then its other thing is activate main restless base. If a friendly Academy unit is in play, choose one enemy unit, it gets -1 AP for the turn. I mean, that's cool. And to be honest, when you're running a full Academy deck or a mostly Academy deck, this effect is going to be live once per turn. This is the opposite of Vesalius. Like, you're just literally, with the condition of having a friendly Academy unit, you're just going to minus something by 1 AP, allowing for better trades. This isn't a great card, but it's not a bad card. It's just not. I just don't think it's making the cut over what White has for bases currently. Now, moving into the uncommons, we're starting off with Launcher Strike Gundam. Everybody from the beta should know this. This is an excellent card. Costs 3, but it's got a 3/4 stat line, the ability to link with not Kira, but just Earth Alliance trait, allowing you to put quite a lot under it. I believe Hakim and Demian Mulaflaga can be under here. Kagali should be able to be under here, I'm pretty certain. So this really just kind of allows you to link with quite a lot. But most of the time, it comes down, it's going to be a blocker that gums up the field. 4 HP is quite a lot to be able to take not 1, but probably even 2 hits most of the time. Now, a newcomer, we do have the Sword Strike Gundam, and the Sword Strike Gundam is just very, very, very strong. He's gonna cost 3, he's level 4, he's a 4/3, and during link attack, choose one enemy unit with 2 or less HP and return to the owner's hand. This is crazy, because linking this card with Kira is going to allow you to have a 6/4 body. You're going to attack something, and it's going to actually reduce its AP by 2, making this thing probably survive 1 to 3 attacks depending on the mileage you get out of it. But also importantly, you're going to be able to bounce something. So you can attack on something you want off the board and then look at something that can't link and put it back in hand. That's awesome. And it's 2 or less HP too, not level. So there are going to be some times where a 4-2 can just get bounced back to the hand with Sword Strike Gundam. Also note, once again, it's got Alliance, Earth Alliance trait as his link and not Kira. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this. I do think that Kira helps this card survive for more attacks, but you will be able to link more than Kira to it if your deck is equipped to. And I think that's actually making this card a very, very good tech. Next, you've got Darbold. This is a beta card that we had, level 3-2 cost, 4-2 stat line, huge on the attack there. And when you deploy, you can bounce a unit with 1 HP. This gets rid of a lot of tokens. This puts a lot of cards that can't link back to hand. And I think all in all, this is just a neat card. But as we move away from these we're low to the ground rush decks and kind of move into more mid-range, more control decks, more ramp decks, I think this effect gets less and less and less value. It would be cool if you could target your own stuff, because then you could have a card that barely survived, and then you could just bump it back to your hand and then keep going. Or maybe they were gonna get you with a surefire destruction, and you hit him with unforeseen to save your guy with 1 HP, and then they couldn't follow up on it, so you can just Darbold it back to your hand and then replay it with the link. But unfortunately, it's not that versatile. It does say enemy unit, and I think that really hurts this card. Next card we got here is the Michaelis, and this is a level 3-2 cost, also from the beta. He's just a 3-3, but if you have 4 more commands in your trash, this unit gains +1 AP and +1 HP, making it a 4-4 before it can even link with the Academy trait. I do think that the main issue with this card is that yes, we are going to be running things like Overflowing Affection and White always, and depending on what you pair it with, you might have Show of Resolve, you might have a couple things. But like I've been saying in these videos, your command card quality has to be A1. Otherwise, it's just going to feel like a hard minus. And so it's kind of weird trying to build a deck with too many commands. Otherwise, this is pretty good just for having that static effect. And I do think that at some point, we can see this card just be a staple in some deck. I just don't think it's going to be right now. Next card we have here is the Gundam Aerial Mirasol Flight Unit. And this is a level 4-3 cost. During pair, activate action once per turn 2. That's a mouthful, that's a lot. Choose one enemy unit, gets AP -1 for the battle. And then it has a 4-3 stat line. This is very interesting because you would like to say that maybe you can get value over time. But the fact of the matter is, if you wanted to have more value over time, you probably needed this to have a 3-4 stat line so it could have a little bit more HP. And then pairing with Soletta, you'd be able to have even more HP and be able to really just use this as a rock. Now, 2 every single turn, and it has to be paired, is kind of wild, but if you are pairing it and linking it, for that matter, with Soletta, this is really essentially going to be a 1 cost effect because you'll be untapping one when you swing. So yes, it's cool, but I think that this, to push it into like relevant state, it needs to be like a -2 on AP. So yeah, I just feel like this card is just going to get left by the wayside. Then you have Guel Jeturk. This is a just card from the beta. I don't know why they made this card. I'll just be like just point blank period. It's crazy. If your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, set this unit is active. It can attack during this turn. So basically, I guess if you have a blocker, you can do that. On top of that, if you have a card that you just don't want to get attacked, you can put it back to active mode. But realistically, I'm not feeling it. It's giving +1/+1. A lot of decks will not reach this threshold, and the decks that you do reach this threshold against, I mean, it's just, I don't really see this being useful. Right now, currently, I feel like the only deck that actively stays around this hand total could be blue-white for the most part. Sometimes it can be like white-green as well, but yeah, I'm not really seeing this one, so I just kind of, I'm not high on it. Overflowing Affection, another card we saw in the beta. Do I need to say more? Like, do facts. Like, it's just, this is a great card. It filters, you draw 2, discard 1. You just have this, like, it can be going second, it can be used on turn 1. There's nothing I can say about this card that people don't already know. It's just one of the best cards in the game for just like bridging together that consistency. Next, we've got mid-air modifications, and this is essentially just going to be the Archangel effect on a command card. The difference, though, is that while the effect is good to choose a rest unit with blocker and set it to active and it can attack during this turn, and its burst is actually pretty neat, potentially being able to use the blocker an extra time. However, the fact of the matter is Archangel sets up a buffer between your shields and your opponent, and it has a effect that you can use once per turn, meaning the more times your opponent cannot get at that base, which is higher and higher chances if you keep untapping blockers, the longer you'll be able to abuse the fact that you can attack with something and then untap it. This card is a one-time use only and will just often end in like a -0, and half the time blocking a second time will result in the death of your unit, meaning that you're really going to be losing 1 to 3 cards if it was paired or linked. So this is just not too great of a card if I am not mistaken. Not bad, but I just don't think this ever makes the 50. Then you've got the last of the uncommons, the Kusanagi, and this is just a base. It's a level 4 2 cost, 0-4, and that 4 is going to be a detriment. And it says deploy, add one of your shields to your hand, then choose one enemy unit with 3 less HP, return to the owner's hand. So you're getting a bounce for a basic warship that can be knocked out by a 2 cost. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. But I know a lot of you guys are looking for Gundam card game product, and while I can't promise you the product on release, what I can promise you is that these 2 stores, being Hyper Beam Cards in Tijuana as well as Mystic TCG in Missouri, both will be supporting the game, and hopefully once we get a restock or the initial hype wears down a little bit, they will be able to provide you with this product by going to their website or checking up with them on their socials. So go down to the description, check out their links, and make sure you visit Hyper Beam Cards as well as Mystic TCG today. All right, let's go back to the video. All right, so the next card we have here is a rare, and it's Perfect Strike Gundam. This Gundam card is definitely from the beta that we've already had plenty of experience with. It's pretty much just great. Level 5, 3 cost, 4/4 stats. It's amazing to pair with Kira. This card just kind of do it all. Blocker, and then on deploy, it's just choose one enemy unit with 1 HP, return to the owner's hand. So you can even set back certain cards, especially if they are left with just 1 HP and they can't link. So you can really set people back like this. And then it's got the Earth Alliance trait as it's linking. So yeah, like all in all, great card. Great card. We've known it's great. It got better because of the fact that we have more Earth Alliance. Now, moving forward, we actually have the, oh no, is Kagali or? We'll get to her at some point. Moving over, we've got Strike Rouge, and Strike Rouge is a level 3 2 cost, 3/2 stat line. And the activate main, choose one of your rested units with blocker instead to active. It can't attack during this turn. Link Orb. This is one of those cards where I feel like it's stepping through another hoop. You want to use Archangel to just tap 2 to untap a blocker. Having a body on the board with only 2 HP that you have to then tap 1 HP. If it survives, sure. But the moment this card turns sideways, it's probably getting slapped up, and then you won't have this effect at your disposal. So I think that this card is cool, but I'm not sure if it makes the 50. Like, there's the fact that we can't go over 50. I think there's just a lot of times where there are cards that nothing's wrong with them. They're just not good enough to break into the 50. Then we have got Gundam Aerial, and this one was a beta card, just a level 5 3 cost, 3/3 that can be played for actually 2 when you have 4 more commands in your trash. However, even playing this for 1, like by the time you have this effect live, playing this for 1 don't really do anything. Like, I hate to say it, but it's just like there's no real follow-up to this card. Like, you play this card out, and then what? So yeah, nah, this card is slop right now. Maybe something will come out later that'll really help it, but right now I just feel like there's nothing really, like, this is not the payoff you want for getting commands into the trash. But then moving over, you have Gundam Pharact, and this card is actually, I think, much better. However, actually, no, I just think it's straight up much better. Level 4 3 cost, 3/4 stat line is absolutely fine. During link attack, choose one enemy unit. It gains -2 AP during this battle, and on top of that, it links not just with Elon, but with any academy trait, so Suletta as well. So when you link this with Suletta, you're able to actually have a valid body on board that then attacks, minuses something by 2 AP, and untaps 1 resource. This is great. I like this card. Now, granted, I don't think that Academy is the way to go when it comes to the current white-blue things, but I think that somebody's gonna try to make Academy work as just its own deck, and when they do, I think that this card is going to be a crucial piece of the puzzle. Next, we got Chuchu's Demi Trainer. Just the filter on the draw one, then discard one on the attack doesn't need to be linked, but if it's not linked, this card is not long for this world, period. So it probably needs to be linked. However, I do think that this is just a decent card. It's just got no survivability, and that's the issue. Now, going over to Kagali, I did make a mistake before. Earth Alliance really just, I guess, goes to like Haka Endymion, as well as Mula Flogger from Haka Endymion and Kira, because Kagali is Orb. And this is a level 4 1 cost, just +1/+1. While this unit is white, it gains blocker. So it is pretty cool that you can put this on Strike Rouge and then for 1 untap Strike Rouge to allow it to block, and that changes it up a fair amount. I think that that gives credence to that, but the question is, if you're going white-blue, will you actually have the space to tech in Kagali? The answer is probably no. It is going to suffer from the 50 card limit. And then we have got Witch and the Bride, another beta card. Fairly good, it's just that I don't think it makes the 50 for most white-blue decks, but maybe in an Academy, straight-up Academy deck, this could actually slide in. But really, it's bouncing something with 5 or less HP. This is most of the game, almost all of the game unpaired or unlinked, but it's most of the game even when paired and linked. So this is actually a pretty good card. The burst can actually just stop a whole attack. I do think that this is a good card. It's just maybe not good enough to hit the 50, and you're gonna hear that a lot as we assess cards. Next card we have here is Iron Fisted Discipline, that also just like doubles this Chuchu. However, it's a 2/1, right? At main/action, choose one enemy unit with level 4 or lower, it gains -2 AP. The level 4 or lower makes it kind of worse, simply because we already have Unsuspecting Incident, which is just gonna do a lot better. And doesn't have this weird thing, but it's also a pilot, but it adds +1. Oh, this card is incapable of trading Chuchu's Demi Trainer, which needs it to link. This card need to be like an 0-2 or something like that, but like, I understand it's a command pilot. It's just that that combination is hot garbage. Like, there's just nothing you're really doing with that, and you can't really add survivability onto it. Now we're going to move into our LRs, and I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. So the first LR that we have here, are you ready for it? This is Freedom Gundam. And Freedom Gundam is a level 7 5 cost. Very, very rarely do we see something this high having like a 2 resource disparity between its level and cost, but it is what it is. This guy is a 4/6, making him absolutely wild. If you put Kira under here, he is going to become a 6/7, which is just crazy stats in general. He's got blocker, and you know he's doing damage with 7 HP. He is literally going to survive quite a few things outside of like the Wing Gundam deck, and he's also going to clap whatever he crashed into or blocked because of that 6 AP stat. Now, during pair, once per turn, when you pair a pilot with this unit or one of your other units, choose an enemy unit, it gains -2 AP during this turn. This is going to cause so many ridiculous interactions. You could have something that's like a 4/4 or something like that, and what you can do is just like play a body out, right? Like play out a Sword Strike Gundam and then pair Akira while this is on the field with Akira under it. You're going to be able to pop something back to hand when you swing. Like first you're gonna -2 off of it, right? Just -2 off of something you want to destroy. Then swing with Strike Gundam that has Akira under it, and -2 off of that again to drop its AP down to 0, and then use Strike Gundam's ability on attack just to pop something back to hand that has 2 or less HP, effectively causing a trade that you lost nothing on and bouncing a card that can't link back to him. This card is going to cause a lot of boards to start stabilize. It's really going to be what allows you to fight back, and as many times as you have pilots that you can pair with units, you can do stuff like this. It doesn't have to be a link, you just have to slide a pilot under any white units and then get this effect. It also is going to work when you put it under this one for the first time. So if you do play Freedom Gundam and then pair it with Kira and then swing in, you are going to be able to minus something by 4 and attack it, barely taking any, if like any damage on this card. And then to even further talk about this, if you have Archangel up and you have the resources, you can just put this guy back up to block. So this is going to be a massive card to put as the top end of the white-blue control style decks. Next, we have Justice Gundam, and Justice Gundam is another 7-5, and this is pretty interesting. It's a 5-5 stat line. The link has to be Athronzala, forcing you to play white-red if you were linking with this. And then it says deploy one Phantom 00 Triple Ship Alliance AP2 HP2 blocker unit token. During pair / attack, choose one of your Triple Ship Alliance unit tokens, and it may attack the turn it's deployed. So this is kind of funky. I mean, you're going to be able to make your own Triple Ship Alliance token, and then you're going to be able to swing with it the same turn as long as you pair this and attack, which means if you're playing this, deploying the token, and you Athron the exact same turn, the token will be able to attack too, allowing 2 attacks in. Now, going through these cards, right? I'm just looking at this real quick. I'm fairly certain there's only a single time where you make this token, because I'm pretty sure that the Earth, like the Striker pack or whatever, makes an Earth Alliance token. So there's not really a way, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, that you can actually make another token. Meaning, how often does this guy get to make tokens? Like, how often does this guy get to use his effect? I don't know, and it doesn't really sound that great. So this card I'm not really high on. I might be overlooking something. I'll try to do some research. I'll make a post if I am, but as far as I know, the Phantom 00 Triple Ship Alliance is the only, well, the Phantom 00 is the only freaking token with the Triple Ship Alliance on it, making this an incredibly funky card. Yeah, I don't know about all this. Now, our last one is going to be the Gundam Aerial rebuild. Level 6, 5 cost, 5/4 stat line. When paired, choose one command card with a level 5 or lower from your trash, add it to your hand. This can be Unforeseen, this can be Witch and the Bride. Pairing this with Suletta and linking it makes this a 6/6 threat. This is, I think, actually fairly good, but once again, I just think that we need to see a little more to make a full Academy deck. Maybe in a set or two, they'll release some of the other cards that go alongside of it. We're missing a couple Gundams. We're missing, like, yeah, actually, I think we're missing no less than 3 Gundams from this. Actually 4 Gundams from Witch from Mercury that don't even have cards yet. So I am sure that we are going to get more cards. I am sure that we're going to get more pilots, and over time Academy may be a premier white deck, but I just think right now it's kind of not. Now, I'm sure some people are going to make it work, and I'll eat my words, but I feel like right now Academy just isn't the strongest way to build white, and these cards just have to be put on a shelf for later. But I do like the ability to recycle things, because as I've been saying, commands inherently feel like a -1, but when you can start picking them back up with relevant bodies, they stop being minuses and start being recyclable assets. And I think that Gundam Aerial Rebuild is the first effect in a line of hopefully many to come in the future that can help commands feel better to play. So all in all, I think that white is actually very strong. However, when it comes to white now versus white in the beta, to be fair, we got a lot of the cards that we consider staple in white already spoiled during the beta box, like the strike cards. There's just definitely more, but like it's kind of wild how many of these cards that we've already seen. But great additions like Sword Strike, great additions like Justice, great additions like Lfrith, really got in there. So I think that white is a very powerful color. I think that right now we have probably 2, maybe 2.5 colors that are meant to be the forerunners, while they get supported by another color. And I think white is one of those forerunner colors. I do think that white is very powerful. You're able to stack up a lot of blockers. They have a lot of utility as well. They can help reset the board, especially when so much momentum comes from these cards that do not link but just come down with solid stats. So I'm thinking that white's pretty good. In terms of relation with blue, green, and white, I definitely think that white and green are the colors that you want to generally focus your deck around, that then get supported by other things. So I mean, blocker is the main keyword in this color. There are plenty of blockers. There are effects that help you use blocker multiple times. So yeah, I think it's actually pretty strong. Pretty strong, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of white as a color. Let me know what you're most excited to use. Let me know the interactions that you are already cooking up in the lab. And if you like this video, like the video. If you love this video, make sure you subscribe for more Gundam card game content in the future. And yeah, go to the description and check out every quadrant of Universe X. Thank you guys, and just make sure that you go over and check out in the description the tournaments done by EagleX. They just had a tournament last night. They're going with another tournament this weekend for a beta alt-art kind of like tournament. Great prizes in general, and those links will be in the description so you can check that out. Thank you guys, and I will see you next time.